Diddle-diddle-diddle. Good afternoon. I played 4 days ago in the Dragon League Dragon's Breath, like the first qualifier, and I wanted to make a recap of it because I think it's always a milestone to play against players who are simply way better, and it's a double elimination bracket and has 64 players in it. So all of them are pretty decent. And in the first game I was paired against Nubi. He is, or back then he was like also in the top 1k. He has several good finishes, so I knew what I am up against. And the matchup in this first game is pretty decent. I got plenty of counters against his Royal Giant, the Prince, and the Royal Ghosts are pretty decent counters against the Evo RG because they don't get pushed back. So what happens, is it right here? No, it's not right here. But somewhere in this, sometime in this game, or was it against Vitor? No, it was against Vitor, yeah. So yeah, yesterday I played in a GKR qualifier and lost 1-2 against Vitor. And earlier I won against the, by then, like top 130 rated accounts, which was pretty cool. So let's focus on the gameplay once again. So what happens now is that I have a decent elixir advantage and he needs to defend this push somehow. And I also know that he has rage, which he uses pretty good, and I can't really break through yet. But what I can do is abuse the fact that he just missed my Firecracker and start pushing even more. So I get 2 hits from with the Hot Rider. Still need to defend the Evo Skellies, of course. But the problem is, as soon as he plays one Evo RG, I know that I can't defend it flawlessly. So it's always at least some damage, but I need to minimize the damage that he does. So I don't really know why I didn't go with a aggressive Mega Knight there, because now he has just plenty of Phoenixes and can start stacking them. And I can't do really much against these 2 Phoenixes. I can defend 1, but I can't defend 2. So now I'm way behind in damage, but I do have plenty of troops down there. These were pretty good arrows, as you saw, and somehow my Prince gets through because he has no good ground unit to counter my Prince, and I am 1-0 against Nubi. So this was game 1, and in game 2 I talked to Raphael before the game, and it was pretty clear that he will play Drill, as it is his main deck in this, at least what his profile says. And the first thing we see is Drill, so it's pretty good. And also I picked the wrong tower. The Dagger Duchess got nerfed pretty heavily, so you can't really play her anymore. Or at least Princess Tower is preferred by many pros, so the pros know what they're doing. So in general, if people who know what they're doing are doing the same thing with like 80% of their base, you should follow them. So now I am a bit ahead in Elixir and behind in damage because I still haven't gotten... it's probably because he hasn't done much damage either. It's just that my tower is the Dagger Duchess. So I just continue with a Mortar here. He doesn't really have anything good in cycle, so he needs to split the goblins, and unfortunately he can always pick up my Skelly King with his Mighty Miner, and now he is in pretty good shape, but my guards counter his entire push. And yeah, guards are a pretty decent card nowadays. I also see many pros use them because they don't have a natural counter anymore. Back in the days they used to die instantly to arrows, but now they don't die to arrows, so you need to play like arrows and zap or arrows and rage to counter them. And now it's double elixir, and what do you do in double elixir? You start pushing. Unfortunately, of course, he's a really decent player and knows what he's doing, and I get this really lucky hit, which is good for me, not so good for him. And now I'm ahead in damage actually. And I don't know how I should do more damage because I can't really break through with the mortar, or I haven't broken through yet. So my Skelly Barrel always walks into his Tesla. He can counter my mortar always with his, like, all of his ground units basically. So I am now just like 100 damage ahead, which is the equivalent of like 3 or 4 poison hits. So if I want to maintain my lead, I need to somehow break through, which does not happen unfortunately. But I do have an elixir advantage, which is gone after he plays his evolved Tesla. So I don't know why I didn't protect my Evo Mortar there more. But I am ahead in damage. I haven't figured out yet why, but I'll take it. So I'm up like 300 in damage, and we'll get the poison value. And I think this is a problem for me because now I can't defend. So somehow he got pretty good damage, and now he had the free card cycle because of his Mighty Miner. So now he is ahead in damage, and the 500 damage is pretty decent in this matchup because as I said, I can't really break through. He can't break through either, but he had his one time where he got like 700 damage, and that's a lot in this scenario. So can't really win that anymore. Of course, I don't give up, but I think this will go into overtime, but it shouldn't have. Maybe I should have switched to the Prince Tower and it would have made a difference, but I can't confirm that. So yeah, so I'm 1-1 against Newbie, and in this last game I knew that I need to play a deck that I like, so something I'm comfortable with, and therefore I chose Lockbait, which is like my main deck, so I know how to play it. And in the first minute I just don't want to throw my game away. So right off the bat we see that he plays Knight and Barb Barrel, which is extremely common in graveyard decks, but it can also mean E-Giant or Rag Golem variants. So I figured out that he has 2 small spells that counter my Goblin Barrel, which is the NATO and the Barb Barrel, and he also plays the magic, the wizard. So yeah, The bowler is of course a pretty decent counter as well, so I need to pay attention to that. But this first minute is simply figuring out how or what cards he plays, and this is now my chance to push in, because he needs to defend both of that, and unfortunately no Skelly gets a hit here. If I would have gotten one Skelly connection, I would have won the game surely, but sometimes these are simply these 50-50 interactions, and yeah. What happens now is I know that he's a little bit behind in damage, and this is, in my opinion, it was a pretty great play by me. Unfortunately, as you see, I did like 1.4k or 1.2k in damage and want to defend now with a Inferno Tower, but I haven't figured out yet that he actually plays an E-Giant and he can play it at the bridge. So now I'm in big trouble. I don't know why I've logged like right now, because I maybe would have gotten a better position out of that, but my Skellies get NATO'd away as well, so I'm in rough shape here. I don't have much elixir, and he can use one lightning because he knows that I can't do or I can't push in right now. Well, I need to, but I can't really do anything like significantly. I'm also very slow in my play right here, and this 600 damage gap is simply I can come back this in normal games, but this guy knows what he's doing, so it will be significantly harder against him than against any other person in the world, like any normal person, shall I say. So there's another hit from the E-Giant, which is of course unfortunately happened. So again, why don't I? Yeah, there are the Evo Skellies once again. Simply one bowler counters all of them. So yeah, somehow I lose this game, and I definitely should have won it. In hindsight, I should have played with my, like this for example. He knows that I can't, or that my Inferno Tower won't lock on his E-Giant because he played it. He still has troops on the left side, and this is simply game over because his E-Giant locks onto my tower. Yeah. There were a lot of mistakes I did in that game. Could have played a lot faster, could have played a bit more controlled in the situations where I should have played more controlled. So I switched to doing some 1 versus 1s and just to practice, and then I faced Kita Sian. I don't know how to pronounce the game, but we looked up the profile at Royal RPE on Royal RPE, and we saw that, of course, because like Path of Legends is one of the first things that you see, how many medals a person has. And then he showed me that this is the account that got the #1 in the world finish the last season. So in the first game, what did I play? Yeah, in the first game I decided to play Lockbait because, of course, I want to improve with Lockbait, and what is a better way to improve with Lockbait than to play against the #1 in the world, or the #1 finish in the world. So Log can be a lot of things, and this is the moment where I thought, oh shit, it's gotta be Hog Earthquake, but in this scenario it wasn't, and it's actually Drill. Generally speaking, against Hog Earthquake, the matchup strongly depends on his small spells, so in my opinion it's easier for me, or it's a lot easier for me. Yeah, by the way, this is one of the situations where I need to ask myself, why or what am I doing? So I claim my princess, I know that I need to defend that, This log is way too early, as you see. I can also play like 2 tiles behind, and it would have made a big difference. And now I just got like 1k damage down my throat for absolutely no reason, just because I played like very badly. Yeah, I did quite a comeback on the damage on the left side. Like, oh my god, I did actually damage. Yeah, this is pretty rad. Or yeah, the princess wasn't that good, I guess, because now I'm simply way behind in damage. And as you see, now I need to play 1 log, and I am slightly behind in damage once again. Of course, this situation is simply played really well by her. The Q-Lash profile showed a girl, so it's either her or someone with that profile picture. I actually don't know. So now I know that I'm way behind in damage, and these drill decks with the 3-card cycle, the huge problem is that they cycle to the log so quickly that you can't really out-cycle them. And like, this is something you see right here. I have my barrel back in cycle, but so does she have her log back. And I try getting the tower as well, but again, the cycle is just way too quick. So I had my chances. I did pretty well in the first game, but in the end, it's just really hard to break through a defense with this kind of cycle, and of course the number 1 finish. But to be fair, for this profile, or to play this well against the profile, it's a pretty good thing. So we figured out that in the next game it might be, or it should be, a pretty good matchup against, what did we prepare? Was it Golem? I don't know, but we figured out that Lava Hound should be a good thing. And in the start we didn't, the decks are really switched up, so you don't know what to face next, especially against these super profiles. So I just play a bit more patiently in the beginning. Barbs behind the king. And this was the point I was also in the call again I was in a call with Raphael, who is my coach. And this Mega Minion simply clears, or should clear, both of these Skelly Dragons. In this scenario it does. And I now need to defend a Lumberloon push. And the reason that we chose this deck is because we know that, or I usually play a variant with like Fireball, but so many people use the Void spell, and I figured out that I should use it as well. So this right here, the Zap, is, in my opinion, so it was simply to do a little bit more of controlled play, to zap his Fisherman and the tower, to cycle also to the next Evo Zap, or to the first Evo Zap, if you will. And as you see, this situation, I should let these through. I didn't, man. Maybe that play would have won me the game. No spoilers. So now, as you see, this is the most crucial situation, because I didn't realize that I have elixir advantage. And right here you can see that my cycle is Lava Loon, Void, so Lava Loon and 2 spells, and I don't know what I need to do, so I just throw the Evo Zap onto one. Like I even missed the archers, so it wasn't worth it at all. And now I go in. No, why don't I go in? Yeah. Do I go in now? No, I don't go in. Yeah, because I always fear that she might pressure the opposite lane. And now she needs to defend one side. And the good thing about this matchup is that I simply can... Yeah, and this right here, I should have just I should not have changed my running system and simply countered the balloon with a void spell as I have earlier, because now the damage is pretty equal and I still don't know what to do. The defense is okay, so I get the void down now, and of course the void completely counters it. And now, like, this situation would have been won if I had my Evo Zap now. If I had the Evolved Zap right here, the archers would have died, and it just would have worked out. So it's really frustrating to go over this once again, but this is the situation, and I throw my Void spell in the hopes of cycling back to another Evo Zap, but it's just simply not enough, and I lose by a hair against the number 1 finish. But still, in my opinion, and also what we figured out in the coaching, that this game is showing me that I have decent chances even against the best players in the world if the matchup is good and I play slowly and controlled, if the matchup requires it. So yeah, that's it. I hope I qualify for the next Dragon's Breath top 120. Yeah, it was 128 players in one double elimination bracket, and I would have needed to get top 16, I guess, but I'm not sure. So yeah, that's it. I hope that one day I can win at least one set in the upper bracket or in the lower bracket. I don't really care. I just want one win, and that would be a massive improvement. So once again, I lost 2-0, and in games 1-4, which is the exact same I've performed in the last bracket last month, or in the previous bracket I've played. Adios.